you guys, it's Dante with another Comedy Roundtable, and we are asking comedians today about the elections and the coronavirus. Today on the show, we have these beautiful, very funny people. Why don't you introduce yourselves, give your social media, and we'll go from there.
Colin Chamberlain, Colin Comedy, that's it. Yeah.
Hey, Bronson Jones, Bronson Jones.
I just took a mouthful of beef jerky. Kim Crowell. I thought it would be a lot longer. I was like, oh fuck, they're quick. Hi, I'm Kim Crowell. KYMKRAL is my social media.
Hi, Dave Carter, D Carter Comedy on Instagram.
Hi, Patrick Keane, at Keane of Comedy.
All right, and mine's just Dante the Comic, but so we'll start. Anyone who wants to jump in, what do you think about the coronavirus?
I want to say that I just really love following the Coronas in Twitter because they keep having to tweet out because 33% of Americans still think that if they drink Corona, they will get this virus, and they're like, and Corona keeps tweeting out, once again, it has nothing to do with us, please have a Corona.
Right, all it means in Latin is crown. It's the
Is
same
that what
thing.
that, I don't know, why
That's
did
all
they
it
come
means.
up with it? Why did they
Because
come
it
up
looks
with
like a crown, the virus looks like a crown, so they call it the coronavirus.
And it's not the first one either. There's been a lot of coronaviruses.
Is that true?
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So this one's called COVID, meaning coronavirus 19, because it came out 2019.
Ah, I see.
So, but this one is
That's
just more
when the
deadly.
coronavirus dropped, 2019.
I love
Yeah.
when it drops.
Yeah.
It's catchy.
It's really good.
Right.
Oh, nice. Very catchy.
It is catchy.
It's
That was
gone
very
viral.
good.
I was
With the punch.
viral.
And how honest is China being about those numbers? I mean,
Not at all.
Not at all. right?
No, for sure.
Right, they're being like
They're super
North
sketchy
Korea
about
on
it,
those
yeah.
numbers.
Well, what I'm
Yeah.
curious about, because China has it, South Korea has it, in between them is North Korea, and how many people are dying there? 'Cause
Right.
They got nothing.
Right.
Yeah.
But
No,
people-
one word.
People will be
Well, because their
wiped out.
leader is all supreme and can heal all of them by just going with this.
So is this a threat, or is
That's
it
our
just?
leader.
Is
Oh
it
yeah, I
next-
forgot. That's our leader. Sorry, America, not
Yeah, that's hard.
North Korea.
Is this a legit threat then, or is this just a distraction, like to get us to the next distraction? This corona. mean,
I don't
how
know.
big of a
Is it
threat?
because the bird flu wasn't a big deal? It didn't.
But let me
here.
ask you, we think they're not that big of a deal because we're not like I don't know anybody who died from SARS or the bird flu,
Or
but like
the mosquito one
But
or
people
whatever.
did die. We just say it doesn't affect us.
I guess
we
it
don't
doesn't
know
mean
anybody,
anything
you know
if
what
it's
I mean?
if it's less than people killed by lightning. You know what I mean? If there's 2,500 in America killed by lightning and 2,500 die from, is it that important or scary?
But it's also, we only known about it for 2 weeks, and there's now 3 patients in the U.S. who have it where they don't know where they got it. That's
Wow.
what's scary, because it's like they weren't traveling overseas. They
That's
weren't
terrifying.
hanging with somebody
Really?
traveling overseas. So like, so how did they get to them?
Hi, Dante.
So it will get worse before it gets
dude?
better.
Hi.
Well, we have a new
You wanna
guy
sit
joining
down?
us.
We're having-
Bring up a chair.
Welcome to show business.
Pull up a chair, buddy. Introduce yourself and give your social media, please.
Hi, I'm Chris Frangiola, at Chris Frangiola. All the ones.
So we're talking about the coronavirus,
Oh,
buddy.
Excellent.
Yeah, it's
How's that?
really
Do you-
funny.
It's a threat?
Yeah.
You think it's real? Like it's like
Sure.
I've got the whiskey
It's as
flu.
real as anything else. Yeah, it's
You've been
real.
suffering from that all day.
It's real
all
that
week.
the stock
the
market
gene.
lost 4,000 points in a week. That's real.
That's
That is
bananas.
real
Yeah.
as
You lose
shit.
trillions
That's
of dollars.
bananas. Yeah.
You're losing rich people's money.
Yeah.
So that's real stuff.
Yeah.
No, you're losing everybody's money. If you have a 401k, it got cut in half last week.
You're a comic and you have a 401k?
I do. Yeah, I'm a successful comic. yeah.
Start the Chelsea Laley show right here, everybody. This time.
Right. Yeah.
No, but you know, everybody has money in the stock market.
Oh yeah, we all do.
But you have it. You have a bank account. It's in the fucking
Right,
stock
exactly.
market.
Yeah.
Yeah, we all have bank accounts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's not a shirt.
Put my money in my mouth.
He's very poor.
What part of China is the Wuhan territory where it's happening? Like, is that in central China? Is it on the coast? Does anybody know?
I think it's central.
I don't know much about it, to be honest.
either.
I
It
read
sounds
like
delicious.
paragraphs a day, and it's just like, okay, well.
Chinese food's my favorite. Like, this is messing me up.
But they're
Serious.
eating like very exotic animals. I mean,
Is that what they're saying caused
apparently
it?
they came from
They
the
said
south.
to a pangolin or whatever that little
Yeah,
animal.
Yeah.
Illegal trade.
It's
They
like
said
a-
illegal trade with
yeah.
those animals
Well, I
coming
guess
in.
Is that how it happened?
They're like flea markets in China where you could buy
Black market,
any
yeah.
of those illegal animals and
Yeah.
eat them.
Oh,
And
God.
apparently it's
I thought
guana,
someone fucked
the
it.
shit that's in bats called guana And that is the thing that gets you sick. It also started the other Ebola. That's the other. It started from iguana as well.
Just eating an
Because
iguana?
the
or what?
monkeys eat the bats
No
to
guano.
get bat shit in, and that's why bat
Guano.
shit crazy.
I thought it said
Guano.
iguana.
Yeah.
Like a-
Bat
Oh,
shit crazy
that's
comes
where it
from
came
that.
from.
Yeah,
So
from eating bat shit.
I learned
Is that
something
true?
today.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is. That's
Holy
pretty
shit, you guys!
educational.
That's
He was
why
there
you're
when they
on
came up with
YouTube
it.
to
yeah,
learn.
Yeah, right. That's,
Did you know that? I didn't know that, and I love where terms come from.
Yeah.
Tell us more, Cliff Clavin.
Lost Boys was a good movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. Thanks for saying that.
Yeah.
I'm glad you added that.
I was just saying that.
All right, shall we move on to the next topic?
So we're all
all right.
good with coronavirus.
We're all
We're all good with it?
We're
We're all
all
happy with it?
We all got what we needed out.
Okay.
I broke it down for everybody.
And I've been taking my coldies, so it's not going to get me.
Dave doesn't
That's
have a
all you
bank
need,
account.
right?
We
Cold.
learned about the
Yeah.
coronavirus.
Healthcare.
I use
Yeah, we got that.
sanitizer. I haven't been sick in 17 years because my daughter was, my ex-wife was pregnant. I was like, I don't want to be sick around her. I don't want to get her sick. I started using sanitizer. Since that day, I've never been sick.
You haven't been sick at all, like not even
Like,
like a
you don't wake up
sniffle?
stuffy?
No mental illness?
Well, I will say this. Here's what I do
Yeah.
get. About once a year, my body feels like I'm tired for the day, and that's it. That's it, just for one day.
Same
Just a
day
reset.
every
One day a
year?
year.
That's
Yeah.
not bad.
The same
Yeah.
day every year? Like on
I don't
March
know. I
3rd,
should write
you're
it
like,
down.
I'm really tired.
Yeah, I don't
It's
know.
March 3rd again.
I'm not a
got-
sickly guy either.
I clean my body with alcohol every night.
Yeah.
That works.
From the
yeah.
inside, from the inside
You did a
out.
lot
true.
of cleaning last night.
From the inside out.
You are spotless.
I'm
It's
Yeah.
true. When I drink a ton, I don't get sick at all. But when I'm like, I don't drink and I'm healthy, and then I have like a beer, I'm so sick for so long. But yeah, when I'm boozing it
To
up,
show you how much
a lot of
Bronson was
tequila.
drinking last night, he had a 10-minute conversation with me. He thought I was Patrick Keane. He looked at me after
You're
10
not
minutes and he
Patrick
goes,
Keane.
wait, you're not Patrick. And I'm like, no, I'm not. But
Oh my
anyway,
God.
you can see the
But then he
resemblance.
realized it in
Yeah.
the middle of it.
He
He goes,
realized
wait a
it.
minute.
myself?
He realized it about 10 minutes into the
That makes it better that he
That's what
realized
it
it.
is. Same exact color.
But the thing is, this,
I'll take
I
it.
just thought I saw you for the first time just now.
Right, yeah. Exactly.
Is that true?
That is true. Yeah, that's
I
true.
love
Dude, that's
it.
hilarious.
Was he present as he talked? Like, was he
No,
like
no,
clear?
he was
Okay.
all right.
Why were you even talking to me for 10 minutes?
Yeah.
It sounded like I was a disaster.
I think
last
you were
night.
doing the talking, whether he wanted.
You were talking at me. I was just.
He was just there, man.
Yeah.
He was like, God damn, anybody? Anyone else?
I talked to him all night. You and I had, apparently he and I were like this close, just like having an intimate, deep talk. And then I tried to fuck Jimmy Schubert.
Well, we'll cut that in post. Okay. Have one of
you
these.
get coronavirus.
Also, strange enough, is the antidote is to have sex with Jimmy Schubert. Yeah.
Also fucking
Yeah.
Jimmy Schubert.
So be careful with the exotic meat. You know.
Where does leaky?
All right, we have
come from?
another person joining us. This is good because we're changing the subject. Walking in, introduce yourself, give your social media.
G Armando Anto. Follow me at Armando Violin Comedy, or just put Armando Violin and you'll find me. Is that
Alright.
enough?
Yeah,
I'm apparently a prop.
Topic.
Next topic is the elections, you guys. What do you think about everything that's happening? Who are you voting? You don't have to tell me who you are, but you can if you want, and why, and all that good stuff. Anyone want to
Do you
start?
think he's gonna win again?
I don't. I
think
don't.
he
Last
is,
time I
dude.
knew he would. I knew he
You
would.
did?
Yeah, I was on the road. Everywhere we went in America, it said Trump. Everywhere. I was like, he won.
Fuck.
Everywhere.
Middle America,
And now-
every rural town, Trump, Make America Great Again signs. It was
What
crazy.
about now, though? Like, do you think?
No, I don't see it as much anymore. And as a matter of fact, Republicans are backing off from him, even though they'll still say I support Trump in public, but they don't support everything about him, so they're not so happy with him. You know what I mean? They love where the stock market was before yesterday.
Right.
You know, they
But
loved
that's
all
all-
of that, but
yeah,
that's the
yeah.
only thing they seem to love. They love where their money is with him. So, but I don't think he can win this year. I don't, because did you see the flip in the midterms? In the midterms, we took almost everything back, and transgender people were elected to Congress, and thank God, right?
Women,
Right, women
people of
took
color,
over,
yeah,
right.
like it was. A
Right,
different-
Muslim women are now famous in the, you know.
Can you imagine?
But in a way, that only emboldens
The other side.
That kind of stuff.
The
The other side.
33% who believe
Right.
you get the coronavirus from drinking Corona
right. They
that
are
voted
so,
for him.
Those
right.
people are so angry when they see a trans person win, the, the Senate
course.
seat, or the woman in
While they're eating their
Minneapolis.
shrimp, an
Yeah,
abomination
right,
at the
right.
same time.
So
yes.
they'll come out, and this is what happened 3 years ago. They came out because they were angry at Hillary Clinton.
Sure.
Yeah.
People who wouldn't necessarily come out and vote did. That's why they lost Pennsylvania. That's why they lost states that they normally don't lose.
And you have people voting against their own economic interests
Always.
because of what?
Always.
Race, fear, those
Fear.
two things. I don't know.
Yeah.
Race and fear.
I mean, racism and fear.
Once he said, "Get the brown people out of this country," he won, and he'll do it again this year.
I think
he's
so.
going to come up with.
Well, they're
get
getting that
brown
Mexican
people
beer out. Fuck that Corona.
Yeah, right. And they want to hear that, and they'll come out. And,
I have to say, it's not just Trump that's disappointing. The DNC stole everything from Bernie last time.
Yeah.
You know,
absolutely.
Hillary bought her way in. They were broke, they were bankrupt, and she was like, "I'll pay for it as long as I become the nomination."
Oh,
She
yeah.
did.
Coronation.
Right.
Yeah. I think Bernie's the only guy that has a shot at these little nooks and crannies in America, these small towns.
I agree.
But can he beat Trump?
Yes.
I think
Yes.
so,
I
yeah.
think
Every
he's the
poll
only
says
one
he
that can
can.
beat Trump, honestly, and that's
yeah,
why
every poll said Hillary was going to kill him.
Yeah.
You know?
That's what I'm
everybody
thinking
thought
too.
that.
No,
oh my
no,
God.
That's what I'm
they-
thinking about too.
Oh, yes, they did.
Yeah, they did. Ever
But
since
I
in
didn't
the back,
believe it
people
because
didn't
I know
vote.
people don't vote.
Yeah.
People don't vote.
Right.
Did you see how long it took gays to get rights? Because even gay people weren't showing up to vote.
Right.
I would ask all my gay friends, "Did you vote today?" And they're like, "Oh, I didn't know today was voting day." I'm like, "What
How does
is
no
your
one-
problem?"
No one knows. Like, there's so like the.
Well, there are a lot of days.
Yeah, but I gotta say this.
And then sometimes they show up for like
You almost
cheering
can't
and
just
stuff,
fit
wearing
there.
like roller skates and angel wings and stuff. Like, all right, Armando. I'm trying to prove a point here. Can you put the angel wings away for an hour?
Here's my thing. If
I'm getting
you,
credit. I haven't said anything.
if you don't know what day you're supposed to vote and you don't know where your polling place is, fucking don't vote.
Right.
You don't know shit about
That's
it.
why they did.
You shouldn't have-
That's what they did, but they
You
don't
should apply
also
question
don't read
test.
their mail
Yeah.
because you get it in the mail. It says, "Hey, by the way,
Yeah.
here's the info.
When you
here's
walk
the
in,
days."
they should ask you 5 easy questions. Who's the vice president? You know,
vice
yeah, just
president?
like
No one
things
knows.
like that. And if you can't answer those 5, sorry, you don't get to vote today.
Yeah.
We'll see you in 4 years.
I mean, honestly, if you went out and
Crack the
asked
book.
people who the vice president, I bet 60% of the country couldn't tell.
I
you.
got
Dude,
it.
I was-
Jesus Christ.
is the vice president.
I was bartending when Obama was
So he's
in,
your co-pilot.
and this guy came up and he goes, "Hey, who's the vice president?" And I was like, "Joe Biden." And he goes, "Well, that's crazy. You know that?" And I'm like,
How
"I think
is
it
that crazy?"
And then he goes, "I'm gonna ask you to ask every patron tonight if they know who the vice president is, and you'll be shocked." People were saying Hillary. They were saying
Who is this
No
guy?
one knows.
It was
That's
some
why-
random
Where is this
dude.
bar?
Yeah.
There's some dumb bitches.
He makes horrible conversation. He doesn't
Ben
sound very
Kingsley.
fun.
I blew him.
That was Dave. He was the vice president. Dave.
Do you think if they were shown a picture if they're shown a picture of the vice president, do you think they could? That would be an easier match because we don't say the words Mike Pence that much.
I don't
So
think
maybe
they would know his name. They would say,
No,
"I know who he
picture-
is. He's
Mike
that
Pence.
I
guy."
know Mike
Mike
Pence
Pence
though.
and
He's
Gerald
so
Ford. Do they
interesting.
know which one is
He
the
calls
vice
his wife
president?
mother.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah, that'd
Right.
be interesting.
Like,
I'd like
like-
to see that.
Right.
I want to know, like he wanted to make it he wanted to make it a law to have a funeral for your
Abortion.
aborted fetus.
Right. That you
in
had to have a
Indiana.
funeral. Yeah.
My
I
goodness.
will let him write it down.
How does everyone not know his name like that?
Yeah.
Right.
That makes me want to know more about that.
And that you have to have the baby if you've been raped and all that other stuff that he
like
believes in.
he's-
Right.
And does anyone know what his wife looks like? I mean, like
I do.
she's like a person. That's it. Like there's nothing
I think that's the
spectacular
rule
about
We
her.
don't know her.
Marriage.
Right.
But
no,
no, I mean,
no one in
she's
America
And
even
he
knows
calls
her
her
name.
mother,
Yeah.
doesn't he?
He calls her mother. Yeah.
But I get that if you have
And
kids.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
My wife,
Eat alone
mommy.
with
You
women.
Right.
know.
I
You
think I
won't?
do that too.
You won't meet
He
alone.
won't eat alone with women because
Eat?
Yeah, I heard about
He doesn't want
that.
to be tempted by the fruits of an
Are you? How long have you been here in America?
17 years.
And what do you think about what's happening here? Is it weird?
My parents from Iran, and I was born in France.
Get 'em
I
out.
was
Get 'em
born,
out.
I was born in a socialist country, and my parents they left Iran when the Islamic regime came. To me, what's happening to me, I said in my comedy, I say I'm neither into the Democrat Party, neither into the Republican. I'm intelligent, and when I say that is that of course if I have to choose, I'll go Democrat, but I don't think it changes much at the end. Maybe it changed for the country itself, but internationally, if you look at each president that came, like the foreign policy at the end, it's still we're still manufacturing weapons. Like there are things like I don't agree with like Dave Shapiro most of the things he says, but sometimes he say things I'm like, well, yeah, like of course we should stop spending money into weapons. Of course we should stop attacking the world for whatever. But at the end of the day, if you decrease the spending on the army, the American army, who's gonna defend the U.S.? Like we've done so much shit
Of course.
to the world. How
Right.
can you just? And I'm against violence, but I'm just saying logically
Right. We have
speaking,
made ourselves the police of the world, and then if you shut down the police station, then what happens?
What happened? Of course,
Right.
somebody else gonna take over, you know.
Right.
So it's.
I will say this about.
So
sorry.
to finish is just what I think is, yes, we gotta still go vote, make choices, but at the end I kind of feel like it doesn't freaking matter, man. I feel it doesn't.
You
don't think
It
that-
doesn't matter at the
Oh,
end.
it doesn't
I
matter.
mean,
I think though
internationally.
that the world has changed in the past, I'd say even, I don't know, through Obama even. I think that there were things in my life that I couldn't believe happened so quickly. Gay rights and, things like that where I'm like, oh my,
Quickly. Talk to the
quickly.
people in the 50s.
Sure, of course. But I'm saying in my lifetime it was quick because, you hear of all these struggles people have gone through and then all of a sudden everyone is starting to come into the light and starting to get rights, and there's people who still want to rip those rights away.
But Dante, don't you think that's in our neighborhood, like where we live? Like if two guys were holding hands in certain cities that we perform in,
Of
they
course.
would still get yelled at and beaten up.
No, but
So
of course,
I mean, there are gay
we're a
rights
little-
in
we're a little-
where we come from, and
Correct.
but
And
I
people
don't know
still
if
get beat
they're-
up in West Hollywood.
Of course, yeah,
It's crazy.
yeah, right.
But
So
we're a little shielded from it. You're right.
Of
Like in
course,
LA, it's like
totally.
we're like it's so liberal, but it's
No.
yeah. If you're
I mean,
if you
we live
travel,
in a
travel
very
we
sensitive-
travel
Yeah.
around,
Right.
and it's like you go to
Right.
these places.
Like
and
Dante
there's-
was saying earlier, like we all saw the signs on everyone's front lawn for Trump 3 years ago, where it wasn't that much of a shock for guys who were out on the road like we are. In
I saw
LA,
it.
people were just completely floored by that night.
Because you didn't see one Trump sign in LA.
Because and then I
But
was
have you
watching
been to
Chris
like
Matthews.
Omaha or like if you're in any part of Middle America, you
Right.
saw it coming.
Yeah.
They were ecstatic
So
about
what
I
do you
it.
think's
remember
gonna happen
I was
now?
playing St. Louis Funny Bone, and they were both having rallies in St. Louis that day. Hillary was having one, and Trump was having one. There were 20,000 people at Trump's, and there were 250 at Hillary's. And I was like, this is
And your
over.
show was sold out.
Oh, so I had a Trump hat on. I was playing to the crowd.
So what do you think's gonna happen this election then?
I think what's going to
your-
happen is that you're going to get into those debates again, the one-on-one debates. He's going to be doing his thing about whether it be Bernie or Mike Bloomberg or whoever it is, and he's going to do short, but Bloomberg.
You think
or little.
Bloomberg will?
No, I hope
No,
he can buy his way.
Whoever it might be.
I hope
Yeah,
it's
I'm
Bernie.
just
I
throwing
hate to say it. I hope it's
anything,
Bernie
I'm
because
voting
only
for
Bernie
Bernie.
can take him down.
I
A
love
New Yorker
Pete.
can
I
take down a
love
New
Pete,
Yorker.
but I think I'm
Any
gonna-
Jewish New Yorker
No,
can
yeah,
take
but
down a
Mike-
white New
Mike
Yorker.
Bloomberg's a Jewish New Yorker.
I'll say
He
it
won't
this
be-
way.
Yeah.
I was in the military, and we have your mail-in ballots. I think the mail-in ballot should be almost like the NBA All-Star game, where you pick players from both teams. Because the way it's now, like if you're a Republican, you only get to vote that way, and if you're a Democrat, you only get to do that thing. But you should be able to go like, this guy would be a great president, but this guy on the other side.
I agree.
You should be able to pick what you want, because I think that's when things.
I
get
think we
done.
do on the state level because up until this year, I voted Republican and Democrat. Whoever I thought was going to be best for the
You would change-
state
you
and
would
things
do
like
the
that.
You
Of course.
probably should.
Yeah.
that's
Of
how
course,
it
that's how it
You
should always be. I don't
Yeah,
want to
for
vote
sure.
I wanna
for
be
just
a good guy. I
Democrat.
want
I
good
don't just go
players, though.
Democrat. I think they're good. They're smart.
Right.
They're going to
I
help
remember
students.
in
and-
2000, I remember it was going to be possibly Gore and McCain, and I was like, I think we're going to win either way with these guys.
I agree.
it's
That's how I felt,
and then
too.
it obviously didn't happen. But
I agree.
I'm
All-star
worried.
team
I'm
did
worried
for
for
America.
Well-
this election.
Why?
Yeah.
yeah, we all.
Because
yeah, we are.
because I could totally see Trump win, which is sad, but this is a high probability because he's gonna say all the things he wanted to do, and he did. That's the worst. He did do things nobody ever did. And then
He
I'm
did.
not a Trump
And then he
fan.
also made promises
He's
he
gonna
didn't
talk
keep.
ab-
That
yeah,
they'll
of
just
course,
But
ignore.
every politician does that. I'm no Trump fan,
for
but
sure.
He's
I
gonna
mean,
talk about North Korea. He's gonna talk about what he did with Iran, all these things he did, but
Of
good or
course.
bad, and so versus a guy who has great ideas, but we're talking about America. It's like it's
But think about
capitalist
Trump.
country.
But think about Trump with like Bernie as his
I'm not-
vice president. That shit could be wild.
You know,
That would
in
be a reality
France,
show.
it's
Yeah.
the opposite. What's happening in France? They're trying to make France a capitalistic country, and it's not working because
Wow.
the root of the country is not.
Right.
So that's why there is so much shit happening with the yellow vest in France. It's never gonna work. I feel you can't make this country socialist because the whole system is based on the capitalistic. And now let's say Bernie wins. At the end of the day, it's the same thing that it's always been. It's a Republican and then it's a Democrat. So when you had Bush,
We
then
need
there's
more than that. We need a
look,
third, fourth party. We
look
need,
how funny-
But we
that-
need to bring that up before a
And we
couple
need
of
to get
months
rid of the
before the
electoral
election.
college.
All but we,
There's a million
seem
things
like
we need to
want to
do.
be mad about it though, like right before the election. It's like that's not the time. So don't vote for Gary Johnson's or Jill Stein's. Like people are like we need a third party. It's like yeah, let's bring that up the day after the election and work on that and until you know what I mean.
Haven't we been doing that since the last
I
election?
feel like
though? There's a
I feel
level.
like everyone's mad about it until after the election, and then we forget. You know what I mean? Like it's not. I don't hear.
On the
third
other
party.
hand, it makes sense
Am I wrong?
that Bernie is elected because after Bush, we had, as a consequence, we had Obama, which was a good
Consequence.
answer. Yeah, it
That
was a
was a
consequence of
magical
Bush.
time.
I know, but that was the answer. And then
He's right. He's right. It
Through
was.
Obama.
I know
No,
This
but
is
what he's
second or
saying
third
is-
language. Give
What
it
he's
away.
saying is
I don't
everyone
know.
was. We thought Bush was the worst we'd ever get before Trump. Does everyone remember those
Bush is
days?
so cute
So that's what
now.
he's saying. So then we got like a saint
The pendulum.
that came in
Yeah,
and
the
saved us
pendulum
for 8
saint,
years.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then look, it makes sense that after somebody like Trump, yeah, what you get is Bernie, the exact opposite.
Again,
You
not
have
just
to.
going to extremes. I
It's-
just feel like though
yeah,
we're
it's an extreme.
we all kind of believe in the same things, and people will watch this and go, "Oh, they're liberals," and what does that mean to them? They probably don't even know what that means. Like to me, being liberal doesn't mean that I don't believe in guns, and I own guns. I go hunting, I go fishing. I actually believe everyone should show an ID to vote. I think that's part of voter suppression, but why shouldn't we have an ID? We have to have an ID to go to a fucking bar. You know what I mean? Like, what's weird about that?
It's
And
weird
Rebecca's
to not
like,
show an ID when you vote. I think
right,
it's
and
weird.
Rebecca's
Yeah.
like, well, what about poor people that are out in the, wherever? Well, then their church should pick up them and take them to get the ID. Well, they can't afford it. It's $10. I'll pay for it.
For 200 years, there were no photo IDs. So for 200 years of our country's history, people were not showing ID. Why
I
do
know.
we,
We
why do
also
we need to
still
start
have the
that?
electoral college, which is stupid because they think that we're too stupid to vote for ourselves, so they do it for us.
But didn't that come later? That wasn't a
No, that was the
later.
It's in the
beginning.
Constitution. We're a republic,
Electoral-
not a democracy.
Well, Democratic Republic, yes, I do understand that, but the idea of the electoral college, I thought that came later.
No, that's the.
It's built into the
All right,
Constitution.
so this is a wrap up, you guys.
We got nowhere.
Anyway,
Yeah,
comedy
you know,
tip of the
well.
day: keep tagging those jokes. You know what I mean? Really, just work on your writing.
Run the light, run the
Repetition.
light.
Yeah.
You should be more concerned with local politics when your garbage cans get picked up, when your potholes. I mean, really, that's what you should be concerned with.
And we should all just be
Because
nicer to each
in
other,
the-
right?
oh,
Pick
I
up trash,
completely
pick up
agree with
garbage,
that.
you know?
Like in the end, for comics like us, I know you'll hate me for saying this. Trump is almost. I mean, if the economy
he
does
was
well,
so
people
good.
have extra money in their pockets. They'll spend 20 more
Yeah.
bucks than they used to.
Yeah.
But if this shit goes south, we're the first ones that they
Of course.
cut out.
Right? We always get cut out. No,
Yeah.
no more
Better.
corporate gigs,
Right,
none of
yeah,
that.
forget about it.
If
That's
it's
all
better
over,
for more
so.
people, I'm happy. Whatever's
Right.
the best for the most people.
I mean, I'm
even
not
if
a Trump
not
guy, but
Anyway, I've got to cut this
I
off,
feel
you
the
guys.
same day.
Thank you so much. Tune in again next time. And make sure you follow all of them. I'll tag them and show their social media. All right, thanks, you guys.
Thanks, Brittany.